No, but it's
It's
going
going through.
through.
How you know it's
What's
going
up,
through?
Bomb Squad? This is DC Kool-Aid Ann.
Lisa.
You sure? What's up? How y'all doing? Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button.
I thought this was a podcast.
Yeah, hit that like button. It's a podcast, but you got to come in and tell me, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And then we get to
On the
talking. She always
podcast?
got to be saying, really?
I gotta ask the questions if I don't know
We know it's a
no,
podcast.
no. What I'm asking,
We're going to start talking, but we can do an
that's what I'm asking.
intro or
Is it a?
something.
I
You just
don't
don't
think it's an
start
intro on a
jumping in.
podcast. I think you say, "Hey, my name is DC," and hey, my name is
Anyways,
Lisa.
Blondie, can you hear Lisa? Let's see what he gonna hear you
Go even put the
say hi to
chopstick on.
Blondie.
Hey, Blondie,
Your thing right there. Why you looking over here?
because I'm not looking at either one of
Blondie, can you hear? I need to call Leilani. We need to do a mic check because you
them.
I know.
You making my eyeball throb. Okay.
Can y'all hear Lisa? I just want to know if y'all can hear. Because it's actually showing that I can hear her, but same token,
Well, it's not,
I want to make
it's
sure
showing
y'all
that
can hear.
it's showing that somebody can hear me, but it's not coming through. It's like it's not coming through on the side because you should be able to hear me.
Okay.
Did he say he can't hear me?
He said he can hear you.
Can he hear me good or can he hear me talking through your mic?
I don't know.
Ask him.
You
Vaughn, can you hear me like I'm talking or can you hear me talking like through her mic and I'm kind of low? Am I low or am I high
that don't even
or
sound
loud?
good.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Oh man, hold on, y'all. 1 second. He said, "See, I don't have my glasses on because I'm not trying to read.
What he said?
I ain't
I
trying to
can't see that
read.
shit
So we
neither.
gonna see how this work out.
Thank you. Thank you. I know perfection.
So you perfect.
I'm awesome.
All right, y'all. Me and Lisa about to have a debate.
It's not a debate.
Shit, hold on, let me get this
A
mic from
debate
my
is do
mouth.
you disagree?
No, I mean, Freaknik. I ain't never been to one. You been to one? Don't lie, Craig. You been to Freaknik? I'm talking to you. They can't see your face.
I don't want to. No, I mean, I was in school when it was out. Well, no, I was out of school, but it's yeah. We went, but we ain't go because I ain't want to be touched. Because that was back when I ain't want nobody touching. I mean, I still don't want nobody touching them. Freaknik was it's okay. Freaknik, Black Spring Break, Atlanta, Georgia. Started out, I want to say at Emory. There's an AU center. There's a area in Atlanta where there are 4 or 5 colleges that are all within walking distance of each other. Morehouse, Morris Brown. Um, I don't want to lie. Hold on.
She done messed up, y'all. Hold on. She done went to go searching on the phone she using. Really? Anyway, so I don't know how many of you guys went to Freaknik, but
because Freaknik wasn't something that everybody did. It was more of a, especially if you're from like the North and the West, it was more of a Southern thing.
So the
You
people
know,
up in the East Coast never went to Freaknik.
I didn't say they never went. I just said it was predominantly a Southern thing. Now, if you got a whole bunch of people getting better kick back, if it's a car ride, it's a car ride. But I mean, if you got to take 24 hours to get there and you only got a weekend, what nobody, it wasn't, I ain't trying to be funny. It was just, it wasn't the answer to quote unquote the white spring breaking. It was just, it was so many colleges that were together in such a small area. And even though they were in the same area, they were all going to different schools, but they were getting out at the same time. So they were just hanging out and they were having barbecues and partying in the quads. And it just became, let's do it together. I mean, it grew organically. And then it was everybody. And then it was people that didn't go to school in Georgia, people from Florida and Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana were coming over to the HBCUs all in the South were coming to Freaknik for the weekend. If you could drive your car and it took a reasonable amount of time to get there, you went to Freaknik.
But can't you picture seeing your parents on this new documentary that's coming out?
Yes, because I was one of them. Why not?
They're gonna be like, "Ma, is that you?"
No, because I didn't see. Here's the thing: the reason why Freaknik got out of hand, realistically, Freaknik got out of hand because if you have thousands of college age students, male and female, interacting. And you got shirts coming off and shorts being short and dudes walking around with no shirt on, grabbing girls that walk by. It didn't matter if you knew the girl or not. Now understand this was also before um um sexual assault was any unwanted. I mean, it probably was, but this was before the Me Too and before political correctness. So people was just shit. People was just you walk by and they like your boobs, they grab them. You walk by and they like your booty, they grab them. Girls will be walking by in little bitty shirts and little bitty shorts, and it'll be 17 dudes around her before she knew it. It created a culture. The longer it went on, and the more people that had nothing to do with college, because understood at a certain point, it turned into just a party. They were shutting down roads, shutting down streets. You had people that was closing their businesses because one of nobody gonna try to get through to all them black folks to get to their business. You had people that was closing their doors. You got cars pulled in the middle of the street stopping. You got girls that baby put your glasses on. You got girls standing on top of cars dancing. You got booty shaking. You got alcohol everywhere. It went from it was like on the picture now. You got the sororities and fraternities stepping. You got people doing their calls. You got strolls going on. You got people just having a good time. But I mean, when you have that, it 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 grew into something that was not manageable, and I think that's the problem. It grew into something that was not manageable. What happened?
No, keep talking. I just want to get away. My mic too close.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, and realistically, let's just say for the sake of argument, it didn't grow into anything that wasn't manageable. The reality is that your parents do stuff, kids. When you see it later, how you think you got here? That was sexy time. What they thought. And for all the parents, and for all the deaconesses and the deacons now, all you folks that thought you didn't have a past and you could just go up in the church and it was going to erase you butt booty naked at the Freaknik, it didn't. It didn't erase that. You had a past. You had a time in your life. I personally don't understand why people tripping, but then that's just me.
One second. Hold on. I'm trying
Your
to get that.
kids know you drink. Your kids know you smoke weed. Your kids know you cuss. Your kids know because a lot of us still act the way we act. We just got older. No, when I go now, I wouldn't go in my 30s. Hell, I got too deep in my 20s. I didn't want to go to Freaknik. And even when I did go to Freaknik,
I didn't want to get out the car because I didn't want nobody just touching me. Because I back then I had an attitude to like to fight and thought I could fight somebody. I probably thought I could fight a man. So my little short ass would have been out there and just ass whooped because somebody tried to grab my butt. I didn't like it. So I didn't really get out and do the strolling thing because it was it was too crowded. I can't do all that. I like, don't be sweating and spitting on me. No,
Wow.
that
Okay.
wasn't fun to me. But for a lot of people, it was. I don't want to do nothing that ain't fun to me, especially when I was young.
Well, my thing is, can you hear me?
I can hear you in here, but I don't know if they can
Okay.
hear you. You gotta ask them, can they hear you?
Hey, Leilani, how's it now? I moved away from her. I moved far away.
Who said before they was born? Ain't nobody asked y'all how old y'all was. I'm just
But you
man.
know what? It looked like it was fun back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that it was fun.
It looked
Oh,
like it was
make
fun.
make no mistake about it. The original, the first few years of the Freaknik, it was amazing.
But
It
my
was
thing
just
is,
black people getting together, chilling, having a good time, making noise, singing, dancing in the streets. Wasn't nobody fighting, wasn't nobody shooting, wasn't nobody tearing up nothing. They weren't tearing up people's business. It was just so many people you couldn't get through. And if you weren't from Georgia or you weren't a part of the Freaknik, it might have looked like a lot to the outside. But in reality, with the exception, yeah, we did. I mean, everybody was having a good time. This was back when people had a good time together. Before all the shoot. I mean, don't get it twisted. They was fighting, but it wasn't nobody shooting up. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was a good time, especially in the beginning. Now, after a
yeah,
while, when it became so big, it wasn't manageable because after a while, it was the Freaknik. After a while, you had rappers and stuff wanting to come down there. People wanted to try to make a name, so they come. I'm going. I'm gonna be a Freaknik. Y'all come down. You know, you got people just everywhere. But it at my age now, I can see why Freaknik it evolved into what it evolved into, and why it had to eventually stop. Because women, when we try to, and I'm gonna start with that, women try to be, we try to be sexually free. And back in the day, you was a hoe. That's just real talk. The late '80s and the early '90s and most of the '90s, hell to the 2000s, hell now they still call women a hoe, like women aren't sexually expressive. But back in the day, if you weren't sitting at home knitting something, you was a hoe. And women wanted to be out and be young and be free with no kids. And they wanted to wear, if you was little or you had that body and you could wear that tube tops and them little shorts, hell, I wanted to.
but
Hell, sometimes I did.
if why they had to be a
But
hoe though?
because at the end of the day,
They ain't
that's
had to
how
be no
society
hoe.
looks at you, and that's how men look at women. I'm sorry, it is. It is. If okay, me and you was talking the other day, and we was talking about how when I go out, you pay more attention to what I wear than I do because I'm just putting on clothes. But you're looking at how people are looking at me. I'm not paying attention how people are looking at me because I'm not looking at them. And that's how most women are. When we get dressed for us. I don't care about somebody over there because I'm not worried about some stranger looking at me because I can't, number one, do anything about that. And number two, I'm not inviting a stranger to look at me because I want to be dressed nice or because it's hot outside. I want on some booty shorts and a tube top. I should be able. It's the South. It's Atlanta in the middle of the summertime. I mean, in the middle of spring break, which meant it was 90, 100 degrees outside. What was I supposed to wear? What was the girl supposed to wear?
But you know what's crazy though? The
A
crazy,
turtleneck and some blue jeans? No.
you know what's crazy though? Can you hear me?
Uh,
The crazy part is you sitting up in here watching this documentary that's gonna be coming on Hulu soon, and all of a sudden you might see your auntie, your uncle. Wouldn't that be like weird?
Personally, I'd be like, oh shit. But that's just me. I think that I understand that before I was 57, before, well, how old am I? 56? Before I was 56, I was 25.
Yeah, but I'm
Before I was
saying though,
35, before I was 45, I was 35. Before I was 45, I was 40. And I did different things at each interval. So what I did at 25, I might not have done at 35. And what I did at 40, I definitely didn't do at 35 because by then I had dick.
But how would you feel seeing? Look at this.
Shit, I show it off.
Your auntie, and back then it wasn't even called twerking, and they was twerking in the 90s.
Man, I don't know, we were just dancing because back then we had 2 Live Crew. We was shaking what our mama gave us and we was shit face down, ass up. That's the way, you know what I'm saying? Come on now, women knew the song. Trust me, I was in the club 5 days a week. Women knew the 2 Live Crew songs better than the dudes did. We knew when the song was coming on. We knew when our Back That Ass Up part was coming on. Juvenile came out with Back That Ass Up. We was back. You don't understand. We just kept backing. We was already backing up with Uncle Luke and Too Short. We was already shaking that monkey back then.
Yeah,
they just gave us some better ones to shake it too.
No, they was dancing back then like they was twerking, and like I said, twerking wasn't even out.
Well, no, it's always been twerking. They just had to come up with a name for it. It's called booty popping. It's always been out. We always been popping that ass. We always been throwing that thing. It's always been. The booty has always been shook.
My question to you though, for real. So I didn't get out when I was young like that, stuff like that. I never knew that existed until I got older. And once I got older, I realized, this was what was going on in the world. I didn't know.
Okay.
So my thing is, what was the bad things that happened at FREAKNIK,
Well, I mean, it got to the point where people who weren't in college. Okay, when you're in college, you gotta understand, college sports players, you can get put out of college. You had a lot of people that started coming that weren't in school and didn't have to worry about getting put out of school if they did something wrong. You had people that started, after a while, you had people started doing bad things in the middle of FREAKNIK, and it was taken away from the actual fun and the actual stuff that people were doing. You had a lot of girls that were sexually assaulted. You had a lot of girls that were not just touched. You had a lot of touched and groped and pulled on. You had a lot of girls that were raped in public, in the middle of a group of people, because you had enough guys that was like, oh, this is cool. And the girls didn't know. And the killing part is a lot of these girls did not report it because the world made them feel like you went to FREAKNIK, you had these little clothes on, you was asking for it. So a lot of girls didn't even report it. But it came out a lot of times. There was a lot of sexual crimes going on, especially near the end. You could see that girls couldn't even walk through FREAKNIK. It would be just girls walking through with regular shorts on, a little tank top, and dudes would start throwing beer and throwing liquor and wetting up their shirts and pulling on their shirts and pulling on their clothes. It got to be where it was dangerous to be a woman in FREAKNIK. So, and then you had people, and then you also had people that weren't a part of the collegiate center, that weren't a part of the sororities and the fraternities, that weren't a part of the FREAKNIK, blending in with FREAKNIK crime, and it started being blamed on college students. It was a lot, because it got to the point where it was unmanageable. It got to the point where there was no way to regulate it. And it got to the point, if they kept going, kids would start getting arrested and start dying, because understand, they had no problem calling the cops. But it was just so many kids down there. I'm sure the cops were like, we have to, if somebody died, you know what I'm saying? Right. It was just so many people down there. I'm sure a lot of them decided to chill out and wait till it started breaking up, and then they catch the people that was the dregs of the people. But the reality is, it got overwhelming, especially when nobody was really like the leader of the FREAKNIK. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the president of the FREAKNIK society. I don't remember there being no FREAKNIK president. It might have been one, but I don't remember everybody talking about it, or him or her. So there wasn't like president of the FREAKNIK. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Funny. I don't. So there was no one person or one governing body.
But for real, I wonder who the person that actually came up with that.
It was a group of kids from Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia.
They just came up with FREAKNIK.
Well, I mean, it started out as just free break.
FREAKNIK?
It's FREAKNIK.
Nick?
FREAKNIK. I
Okay.
don't know I don't know what the term. I don't know who specifically coined the term Freaknik, but Freaknik started out as Black Spring Break, HBCU Spring Break at a few colleges in Atlanta. It started out as a few hundred people, and then as time went, it just grew and grew and grew.
Mm.
Like you going to Atlanta for. It started out as you going to Atlanta for spring break. I don't know, because Atlanta was 2 hours away from where I went to school. So that's the driving. We can leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, be at our hotel at 8 o'clock in the morning, get us a nap, get us something to eat, get the Freaknik by 12.
Wow. And Freaknik just consists of drinking, partying, and
That's it.
but that's just the same like what's them thing they call now senior week at the beach.
And that's spring break.
Right.
It was if you think about it, spring break enlisted that people going to the beach in either Florida, California, wherever a beach at, Florida, Texas, wherever there's a beach. People go to the beach. But you got a lot of people, and this is for like a week, not really a week. You know what I'm saying? Because if it takes you 8 to 12 hours to get somewhere, that's 2 days out of your week gone.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So if it takes you 8 to 12 hours to get somewhere, you got to really think about what you're doing. Because if I'm driving, okay, we're in Virginia. If I wanted to go to spring break in Florida, that's a day. I'm done. I'm done for 3 days. So I ain't got but 4 days left. Because it takes me a day to get there. I gotta rest. Day to get back. I gotta rest, which means I gotta leave early. If I go to class on Monday, I gotta leave early. I gotta leave either early Sunday morning or late Saturday night. Because
Right.
it's gonna take me all day to drive from Florida to Virginia.
So
So what had happened is that kids in because you have to look at this was a predominantly black situation. These are predominantly HBCUs. So if you got a cluster of HBCUs in a general vicinity, and then you got another outlying HBCUs that only take 2 or 3 hours drive to get there, come on now.
that's just
Alabama
crazy.
State University, we was gone. We was gone. And there's still a few more schools within there that were within the 2 hour, 2 or 3 hour range. One day it takes you give up one day to get there, that's spring break. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times Freaknik only lasted for the weekend. It didn't last like the spring break week that lasted in like Florida, where they do a lot of what's it called, tourism,
Right.
and they got a lot of other stuff you can do in Florida, like Disney World and stuff like that, and going to the beach. Now you come to Georgia, you go to Atlanta, you can go to Six Flags, and then come back to Freaknik, give you something to do, but you ain't going to the beach, and you ain't going to Six Flags every day because it get expensive.
Right.
You a college student, you ain't got no whole lot of money. It's probably 16 of y'all in one hotel room.
Mm. I just like I said,
It's 16 of y'all
I
in one
never
hotel.
really experienced going nowhere on spring break
It
back
was
in the day.
the
I didn't know nothing about no Freaknik till I got like, late in life.
I don't know. It was the planning to get there. It was the car ride. It was the stopping at the little backwards towns. It was the 5 or 6 of us in one hotel room with two beds, and somebody 2 or 3 of us sleeping on each bed. And then you got extra people. You don't know how many people got in your room. Fuck it, you know them. Let's go. And then you in a hotel room with a whole bunch of people you don't know. But by the end of the time you leave there, them your friends. And then you downtown Atlanta, you in Atlanta, you see all this in Atlanta with the skyscrapers, and now you get all these kids you ain't never seen. A lot of these kids are coming from super small towns, and now you in Atlanta with the Freaknik, you with everybody. I mean, it was an experience. It was
Okay.
an experience,
You know,
especially when you're in your late teens and your early 20s, and you free. So now you not only free, but you doing grown folk shit. Come on, that
so do they still have Freaknik still?
no.
They don't have that no
Freaknik
more.
would have. Think about it, baby. Now, just for a minute. Think about 2023, and think about like 20, 30,000 young black kids in the middle of Atlanta, half naked, singing rap songs, girls walking around twerking. How long before the police get called?
Yeah, that just got to be weird because I'm like this. I never thought, about going out like that, spring break. I just that never crossed my mind to do something like that. But then you got to think some of these people that went on spring break never made it back. You know
True
what I'm
that.
saying?
True that. I mean, realistically, the perils of college are not just flunking college and wasting money. You now have somebody who has had everything done for them. Take Nick, for example. He got a job, but if Nick was going off away from home for school, he would go from being able to come downstairs and ask us for money or ask us for this or know that he got a backup plan that's downstairs to going 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 2 or 3 days ride from where your mama house at.
Mhm.
So now your backup is a phone call and maybe an internet away. And your life is yours. You everything you do now is your fault. Anything you do now is your responsibility. Any trouble you get in is your trouble. And your mama can't come get you. That's what a lot of these kids are working with. So you either you got the kids that like Nick who got a good amount of freedom and understands that even now Nick understands that what you do is on you. Whether you can come and go is on you. Whether you get stuck, that's on you. But you got a lot of kids, and I think you got a lot of kids that were like you, baby.
just think about it though. Freaknik back in the day.
Think about you going to Freaknik at 18.
Freaknik back in the day.
Uh-huh.
One, you don't have no type of internet service like as far as
Yay.
outside. I mean, once you gone, you gone. They had them big bulky phones back then in the 90s, but back then it wasn't no social media, no phones.
It was the beginning of phone.
It was beginning, but it wasn't like a popular thing now. Like now, everybody got a phone. Damn, 2-year-old got a phone. But back then, you didn't have a phone. You didn't have no phone.
Yeah,
It
but
was.
girls and guys, they knew the.
And hold up. Then they had them big old camcorder things. They was recording. If you can look at the video, you can tell this is a VHS tape. If you're not familiar with a VHS tape, that's that tape that got the tape in it. You record on it. Eventually go old and it start doing this little stuff that it's doing right now. Somebody that held on to this tape. And then you're gonna end up seeing somebody like your auntie, your uncles, old cousins, and maybe your
I don't
parents.
understand why people talking about that. They don't think their parents did nothing before they came along. If it wasn't Freaknik, it was bonfires. If it wasn't bonfires, it was kickbacks. If it wasn't kickbacks, it was phase parties. They don't think they did nothing.
Yeah, but the thing about it, somebody was recording on a VHS recorder or a beta. Woo, that's some old stuff. And now they sharing the videos. It is just like crazy. They done figured a way how to put this on the digital thing so they can share Freaknik back in the early 90s. It's kind of weird though to see this.
I
Like
mean,
think about
I guess it wasn't weird. It's not weird for me because I saw it up close, so I don't know. I mean, because we either went to we had classics, which after a while became Little Bitty Freaknik. During the fall when you go back to school, HBCUs football teams go against each other, and certain football teams when they play, it's called a classic, Magic City Classic, this classic, that classic, and classic weekend we took over whatever town the classic was in. And Magic City Classic is always in Birmingham. So from Friday night to Sunday afternoon, during the weekend of the classic, get a hotel room and you down there and you doing the thing. You driving slow, talking shit. Your team lost or not, didn't matter. It was a fashion show. It was everything. I mean, that's just what we did. Freaknik was just a larger scale of what we did on the weekend. If you had a specific homecoming, there were a lot of homecomings at HBCUs that were important, and people came from all over to go to them. Especially if you got big alumni. The Turkey Day Classic was Alabama State University and Tuskegee Institute. They played football every Thanksgiving weekend. So from Wednesday night to Sunday afternoon, Tuskegee was full of people. And you had a lot of alumni. There's a lot of people went to Tuskegee Institute that were celebrities.
You know what's crazy though? I was thinking while you was talking because I never experienced nothing like this, but being though, if they was to do it, like I would just purposely go down there with my camera just to see, because it's something like I never experienced. I never saw nothing like that
I
ever.
mean, I'm thinking they're supposed to have a Freaknik this summer. They're supposed to bring the Freaknik back, but it's not gonna be like the real one because it can't be because number one, everybody got a cell phone camera, and
Yeah,
people just not gonna act like they use
everything
that.
gonna be recorded.
Yeah, I mean, people not gonna act like they use that, and we wouldn't think back during the Freaknik time. You wouldn't think about people caring about what we did. We wouldn't think about nobody caring, giving a shit about how we got down, how drunk we were. How it's a lot. That's you know what Freaknik is the reason that they have so much Lauren Lake and Maury on the damn TV. Cause it's a lot of Freaknik babies out there. And it's a lot of women and men don't want to sit up there and cop to the fact that I met your mama doing spring break weekend. I don't even know her name.
Miss Geraldine,
I'm just saying. I mean, it sounds
Miss
bad, but
Miss Johnson.
it was teenagers and early 20s at the prime of your life, no supervision. Shit, you get high for free, you get drunk for free, you get ass for free. Come on now. You party in the streets, everybody having a good time, and once the weekend is over, you go home and you go back to being who you were.
I wonder how many people they locked up doing Freaknik.
I don't know. I'm sure it's a lot. But I mean, most of them got out after the weekend. I mean, it wasn't.
You said they got out of the weekend.
Yeah, because think about it. The reality is, if Freakley had been a violent and um, it had been a situation, it wouldn't have lasted as long as it lasted. It lasted as long as it lasted because it wasn't because you would have thought a lot. Excuse me, would have happened. But it didn't. And like I said, it didn't start happening till the last few years because not to say people just got along in the beginning. It was just having fun. In the beginning, you hung with the people you came with. You met a few people that you might talk to later on and you might not, but y'all hung out because there weren't cell phones, because that you didn't have access to phones like you do now. You always worked on the buddy system. Women very rarely, if ever, went anywhere by themselves. That's you don't go to the bathroom by yourself. You don't go to get a drink by yourself. You don't leave your drink down. You don't leave with no random ass dude just because he said you cute. You don't leave. You no. It was like gangs of girls. And if you just so happen to catch one or two girls out by themselves, then that's when the problem came. But we knew that we had to take care of each other. So, I mean, and I'm gonna give it to most of the guys. Most of the guys were respectful. Most of the guys, they was getting their little rub on, but they wasn't grabbing people and snatching out clothes and doing this. It wasn't until later on that it got super bad. And it got super bad. Now, make no mistake about it. I'm not gonna sit up here and fantasize and tell y'all that the Freaknik was this magical place where nobody got touched on or hurt. That's not true. Because it was a group of people. And yes, somebody got mad because somebody stepped on a shoe. Yes, somebody bumped into somebody they shouldn't have. Yes, somebody grabbed a titty that didn't belong to them or put their hands in somebody's pants and either they got their ass whooped or they hurt somebody. I'm not gonna say that because that's a lie. But it wasn't it was it was comparable. The amount of people and what happened made sense. It was near the end when it didn't make any sense. It was near the end when it was more people that weren't in college than were in college going to Freaknik. It was when drugs got bad, Freaknik got bad. When people realized that they could hide their crimes in the middle of Freaknik, that's when Freaknik got bad.
So what you saying is, once upon a time, Freaknik was an enjoyable place to hang
It
out.
was. It was. It was
So
fun.
you're saying it was fun back then, and as years went on,
And more people started coming.
it just got
It got out of hand.
out of hand. So
Yeah.
think about it. You're saying it got out of hand. But picture that 2023, the way people act now.
It would be shooting. It wouldn't. I'm sorry. It would be people dying. It would have been. It would have Freaknik would have lasted one night because on that first night, somebody who wasn't in college would have went down there, and some college kid would have said something out the way because they think they talking to somebody who's comparable to them, and not this grown adult person who's been running drugs for the past 13 years, and they think they can talk shit. The shooting start. Three or four of them college kids die. One of them parents got money, and then they shut that shit down. It would have lasted one night because people don't understand. I am 56 and I haven't yet to understand why these young people pick up guns when you can throw hands. People forgot how to fight because you can't come back from dead. You can't sit up there and cry when you get caught in the courthouse. And I didn't mean it. You did mean it. You did mean it. So for the life of me, I don't understand why people throw bullets before they throw fists. And if the
Yeah,
first place you
they
went
couldn't
to,
do, they couldn't do freak like back
no,
then.
because as soon as 2023, trust me, there was a weekend where a young boy got shot, a white girl got killed, and another two white girls got shot at because they went to the wrong house. Because they turned around in the wrong driveway. Because the girls went to the wrong car. You telling me 100,000 black folks in the middle of Atlanta?
You're right.
Nah,
Yeah, that's a little crazy. But like I
you
said,
couldn't do it now. You couldn't do it now.
I mean, like I said, I never experienced anything like that. I think my days, I didn't like to be around a large group of people. And by me watching some of this video earlier, I was
Oh,
like,
you would have had
I couldn't
you would have
handle
had a
this.
nervous breakdown. They would have found you in the corner of the subway singing songs to the wall. Oh, it was too many people.
Yeah, it's just too many.
I didn't like it. I told you I didn't get out in the middle of that shit. No, I was good with the driving around. I was cool when we was driving around.
Right.
I was cool with stopping. I was cool with hanging out the window of the car. I was however not getting out that car. I was not taking this wide ass out in the middle of Freaknik. No, no, no,
I think it's just too
no.
many people. Like when I go to concerts, I got issues. It's like I look around my surroundings, I look for the nearest door, how I'm gonna get out because I don't like a large group of people. And the way I was looking at this earlier, I'm like, look at all these people.
Freaknik was outside making so bad. Wasn't nobody inside doing
Yeah,
Freakniks.
there's a lot of people.
It was if you were see you looking at it through a 50-year-old lens. If you'd have looked at it through a 25-year-old, no kids, I can do what I want weekend lens, it looked different.
But I wasn't like that back then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't have appealed to
I
you.
just couldn't do it. So many people. And you
But
don't
see,
know.
I was in school by then. I went to school and I had been working with people for so long that a weekend where I could cuss people out was all I needed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but if anybody had family members went to Freaknik, I hope you don't see them doing something crazy. But
I
when
mean
it's
the videos are not that I'm really not trying to be funny, but think about all the stuff we see on TikTok and on the internet now. And then think about a Freaknik video. The worst Freaknik video wouldn't even make a wave on TikTok
Mhm.
because it wasn't like, okay. Now I don't know anybody, if anybody is listening to me or listen to this is from the South. Y'all ever heard the foot wash? Now the foot wash actually started out as a religious thing, not experiment, experience, to where Jesus washed the feet.
Okay.
And that's what it started out as. Now I don't know which black people took the foot wash and changed it from a religious weekend to a porno weekend. I don't quite know when that happened, but there used to be places I know in Alabama that they would have the foot wash, and it's called the foot wash. That's what it's called. And they would have tents set up, and in this tent will be selling alcohol. This tent will be selling fish plates. It'd be a stripper in this tent. It'd be a dude having sex with a girl in this tent. It'd be three dudes and a girl in this tent. You have to go in the tents and pay to get in the tents. and it would still be. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Now, trust me, we don't. I've been to things like that. I didn't go into tents because I didn't really want to see that.
See
I
me,
had friends that
me personally, I be nosy.
I ain't trying to be
Like,
funny. If I
who
want to,
was in this tent
if
right
I want to
now?
watch porn, I don't want to watch live porn. If I want to watch porn, I want to see it on a video. I want to be able to like fast forward when it's ugly and stop it when it's
Nah,
good. I
I
don't
be
want to
like,
see no real porn because I be like, oh, y'all nasty.
see
And I,
me, I be like curious. I'm like, what are you doing in there? Let me go check
but
it out.
I'm serious, you'd have a stripper in one tent. You'd have a dude making a rap. And the killer part is these bootleg ass rappers would go to the foot wash to make a video. And I'm like,
Wow.
y'all do not have an old girl that look like she about to go home to her kids over and stripping in your video.
So let me ask you this: so Freaknik, it's just based on outside
Yeah, you want
party. They
inside.
don't have no indoor
Nah.
events. They don't have
There were no
events set up.
events. What events?
I don't
What
know.
can you speak of? Man, you are speaking like this was a coordinated event.
But
No,
it
this was
might be
word of
somebody.
mouth.
Hold on. It might be somebody listening and might be thinking like me. They never saw nothing like this.
This was HBU spring break, winter spring break. Okay, where y'all going? Well, I'm going to Atlanta. Well, I'm going to Atlanta. See you there. Okay, see you there. And now imagine that happening 57,000 more times.
Okay.
And all of us show up on the same weekend in the same place. The only thing was coordinated was the hotel rooms. And as soon as they was empty, as soon as you couldn't get a hotel room in Georgia, that's when it was 13 people in one room.
Right.
Because then you go find somebody, you go find your homegirl or your homeboy. You going to FREAKNIK? Yeah. How many people in your room? 3. Hey, I got some money. Can I get in that?
Wow, that's crazy. But I seen like the video they had people in them old back in the day RVs.
You have RVs, you have station wagons, you have folks going to FREAKNIK, sleeping in their cars, pitching tents. It didn't matter because you was up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Most people went to the hotel room to pass out. They was fucked up. You was getting drunk. Them cups was alcohol. Them wasn't juice. It wasn't
Baby,
sip.
you talking so well. You making me like, did you really go to one?
Why? You mean I'm talking well? What do you mean?
You talking so well about it, like you have a lot of knowledge, like you actually
I
went to
told you
one.
I went to it. I said I didn't get out and do the walking around. I don't like all them people. I didn't do all that. I didn't do all that. See, I went to high school in Atlanta, so I knew where to go. So I didn't have to stay over there.
Okay.
I didn't have to. I went to high school in Atlanta. I ain't have to be where they was at. uh-uh. People from Atlanta, you gotta understand. People from Atlanta went to the FREAKNIK. They didn't stay at the FREAKNIK.
Okay.
There was people that weren't from Atlanta or went to school in Atlanta, had friends in Atlanta. I didn't have to be in no hotel.
Okay.
I didn't have to be there. I didn't have to be where the FREAKNIK was. I could go to the FREAKNIK. Like, they be like, you coming down this weekend? Is it FREAKNIK weekend? Yes. Are we staying at your mama house? Yes. Well, I'll be there. I'm not going down there.
So,
Not have to stay down
so
there? Hell
did
no.
Freaknik last all night, all day?
I mean,
Are they out all day and night? Or
it lasted all day and most of the night. At some point, people did. I'm sure it was still people out there late until it was to where the police can manage. I'm sure it was. I don't know. After a certain time, I mean, on Saturday night to Sunday, they didn't serve alcohol.
Mm.
This was back before they changed it. So you was getting ready to go on Sunday. You was hanging out, chilling. But Friday, I mean, it was the whole week when nobody in school.
So what do you remember what year? Was it like
Nah.
98 when you went?
Nah, that was near the end of it.
Because I was gonna look in the crowd, make sure, you know.
Nah, you want to go see me.
Y'all see Lisa on the documentary. Let me know.
I did not do that. I mean, I would have no shame. But I didn't do the walk shame
You
through
ain't
the
walk.
thing.
You didn't
Nah,
get outside out
nah,
the car, nothing.
nah.
You sure?
I- See, you gotta understand, when I went to college, I was already 22. So by the time Freaknik started, I was 25. I wasn't no kid. You wasn't gonna have me. No, I wasn't no baby. I didn't go to college straight out of high school. I graduated high school in 1985. The Freaknik was still 4, 5 years away.
Hmm.
So I was already, by the time Freaknik came along, I was already an adult.
Okay.
So I wasn't,
Grown, grown.
I was grown. I wasn't grown. I was good car insurance grown.
I was about to say so.
I was good car insurance grown. I wasn't just grown. I was stay in jail for the full time grown. I wasn't no, oh my mom. No.
I just
Not to say that I wouldn't have. Now, if I'd have been 18 years old and got my head turned around and all that good sweaty people was out there and I'm sweating with them, ain't no telling. But by that time, I was grown and working and knew I had to go back to work at some point. Nah, because I was working too.
yeah. See, I missed out on all that type of stuff growing up. But sometimes it
It
ain't.
wasn't for everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It wasn't meant for me.
I
But
don't, I don't think that I know you now. I think that you would have went one day and they would have tried to make you do stuff and you'd got an attitude and you'd have been the one driving anyway. And you'd have
and
been
left
like, you
all
know
that
what? This
right
motherfucker,
there.
this car about to leave. So,
You ain't in it.
you
Go.
ain't in it. You're going to be stuck. I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I'm
I
quick.
told
I
y'all
will
I wasn't
leave
going.
you.
See, I told y'all I wasn't going up in all that
I
stuff.
will leave you in a minute.
So I don't think, because I understand a lot of the stuff that we look at now, when it started, it was, we, yeah, we was grown. Because Freaknik, yeah, came after I graduated high school.
All right, I'm gonna drop the link. Even though we're doing a podcast, I'm gonna drop the link for less than 10 minutes, and then we're gonna get off of here because this is our podcast session. And normally we don't drop the links, but just out of curiosity, if you went to Freaknik or you know somebody or you
How many
want
people in here?
to elaborate, what you say, baby?
I was just trying to see how many people in here.
It's going in and out, in and out. Yeah, I was
Oh.
trying to get on earlier, but I was messing with the thing wasn't working properly. But I'm gonna have to do some research on this podcast.
I think we
Thing.
just need another one.
I
I
don't
think I'm
know
gonna order that
what
mic.
I'm supposed to do, and it's irritating me. And normally I'm good with electronics, so
But yeah, I don't think you would have. I don't think Freaknik would have been your
my forte.
your thing.
No,
I don't think it would have been your thing. I mean, it wasn't necessarily my thing neither, because I mean, I really am not big on being touched. I
but why
don't.
they gotta
I'm
touch
not
you? What
being
was the
on.
purpose? You going there to have fun?
Yeah,
Well, I
no,
guess
but you
because it's
couldn't
safe.
avoid it. You
Yeah.
couldn't avoid. It wasn't that they. It wasn't necessarily that they was doing it on purpose. You couldn't avoid it. It was booty. It was ass to booty, the titties to back.
Oh hell no! I
It was
stay my
there.
black ass in the house.
It wasn't no. I don't know. Look, I don't know what you came to do, but uh-uh.
See, I be done stayed
It
in
was
the house.
ass to booty, the titties to back. It was no joke. You was, and the only time that you would see them part ways, if it was a group of girls coming by, but two
Mhm.
or three girls, they would make them squeeze through there. And by the time you got from one side of the street to the other side of the street, you'd have had 3, 4, 5, 17 different hands on you.
Oh, see, no, we don't play that. Mm-mm. See,
That
that
was the
wasn't my
problem.
place.
See, it became, that's the problem. It was the girls, the guys outnumbered the girls.
Mhm.
And the girls wanted to have fun just like everybody else, and that's how it started. And the girls dance, and women should be able to dance and to be sexual without some man taking advantage of that. If I want to show you my sexuality, you don't necessarily have to put your hands on me. If I say no, be okay with that. The problem is not everybody was okay with no. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure you have some girls that didn't mind being touched. Some people did. And it'd be lying if they say they did. But you have the majority of them didn't want to be touched like that without you saying, hey, try different. My thing was this. If you wanted a female, if you wanted a girl, try a different approach. Ask them. Say, hey, you shaking that ass. Can I touch it? And if they say no, go to the next one. It's not that serious. That you have to violate somebody's privacy, violate somebody's security, violate somebody, because that's what you're doing. If
Right.
you don't ask somebody and you just do it and then get pissed off because they mad, well, you didn't ask. That's just like if somebody come up and if somebody came up and grabbed you by the ass or pulled or gave you a wedgie,
I'm in
you'd be
jail.
pissed off.
I'm in jail.
I love you too.
I'll be done killed that.
But what I'm saying is, I can't. I mean, somebody came and grabbed the guy's business and he wasn't expecting it and he didn't necessarily want it. You'd be pissed off. And you'd be extra pissed off if the girl that did it got an attitude because you mad.
Right.
So my thing is, in all situations, there's a way to avoid that and say, hey, you shaking it in my face, I might touch it. And she go, go on, touch it, leave it. I like that. Or she go, you know what? Don't do that. Let me move. You give somebody the option. Don't take their option away and then be pissed off because they mad. And then it turns from sexual to violence. See, that's the problem. The progression is not, oh, my bad, I'm sorry, I didn't know you didn't want that. Apologize and move on. It's, oh, bitch, you shaking that shit in front of me. You better be glad I ain't do nothing else. See, that's what happened.
Right. Hey, TC, do a mic check because I might got to do something to this. Say something. Hold
Do
on.
I need to come off?
No, you good. Hold on.
I can mute my mic.
No, I just got to turn this thing off. Hold on. Settings. Audio. Microphone. 1 second.
See, that's what they was doing.
Say something, TZ. It's still on. Why is it still on? I turned it off.
Let me mute my mic. Let's see if that helps.
Shoot. Oh, hold on. This was turned down. We was having all that feedback earlier. Dun, 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 dun. Audio. Hey, TC, say something.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, go ahead. What's going on?
Nothing. Hey, DC. Hey, Lisa. How's everything?
We doing
All
great.
right. And hello to your chat. Oh my goodness. Lisa, you're hitting on it.
You can unmute your thing, babe.
You're hitting on it really well. I want to say this though. In addition to what Lisa says, some of the people that attended FREAKNIK, it were really supposed to be like HBCU family, but then all of a sudden, everybody else started coming. Everybody else started hearing about all these black people, all these black women, all these black brothers, and things of that nature.
Yep.
And people who were not a part, who weren't going to college, they were military men were coming, and
Wow.
all kind of other folks were attending. And then of course it gets I guess you could say a little territorial, because I know that if we stayed very close, like the North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia crew, we stayed very, very close. And if in the event that there was somebody that bothered any of the ladies, any of our sisters, and they were from somewhere else, or if they were like a military person, or if they didn't go to college, my brothers, my A&T brothers was getting rid of pounds. Don't touch them. Don't pull them by their arm. Don't be hitting them on their, private places and things of that nature. And sometimes it got a little. Some tussles did occur, but it was able to be squashed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was that happened. Bomb squad.
Yeah, I never experienced nothing like that. My thing went on mute. So I never experienced anything like that. So my thing was, what actually goes on there, and I thought maybe they have. I'm used to going. Be real, be honest. It almost sounds like Gay Pride Weekend to me.
You think it would be, but no.
But
Mm.
that's what I was thinking. They have events and setups and stuff, but I guess not.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it was camaraderie. It was a bunch of college black kids getting together, letting off steam, getting away from their school, being grown, trying it out for themselves. And that's what
Mhm.
it started out being. And it just kept growing.
Right.
And we just wanted a place for us because we didn't fit in white spring break. We just didn't.
Well, they didn't fit into us because
And yeah,
it was ugh,
yeah. So it
yikes.
wasn't that we necessarily wanted to be separate. It was just different.
I'm
Right.
your mother.
Oh, hold on. Oh, my
And
bad.
it was just different. It wasn't that it wasn't. Oh, hold on. It wasn't out of necessity. It was just we hung with each other. It's because the sororities and fraternities were different. Just because you had Greek letters on your chest didn't mean you were part of the Divine Nine. It just wasn't the same thing.
Right.
So we cut a piece out for ourselves, and
And we do things.
we had fun. In the beginning, it was all fun. It
Absolutely.
was it was it was the stuff you say. When I say, and I will say it every day, I love black people. I love when we get together and do black. When we black. And we had a good time. We
Mhm.
danced. We hunched on each other. We drank. We you didn't have to worry about. It wasn't a whole lot of girls getting roofied. It wasn't a whole lot of. It wasn't. Not in the beginning. Eventually, it got to be, especially
Yep.
when, like TC said, when they saw that there were so many young women there, because there were a lot of young women. There were a lot of teenage girls, 18, 19. It was a lot of them that hadn't even got to 20 yet, let alone 21. So you
Right.
got that many unsupervised women out in the open. You're going to not just get other college age guys their age, like she said. You got military bases all around the South,
Mm-hmm.
in Georgia, in Alabama. It's 2 military bases in Montgomery, where Alabama State was. Columbus, Georgia. You got them everywhere. So when they came for the weekend, let's go to Freaknik. Let's see what's down there. You had a lot of it stopped being just kids and started being kids and adults. And most of the adults were not women. And that's when they had to kind of end it, because it
Mm-hmm.
stopped being fun, and you wanted to go have fun. You wanted to say, I went to Freaknik.
Right.
You wanted to say, I got a t-shirt. I went to Freaknik and all I got was a t-shirt. But after a while, it wasn't fun no more. And I think a lot of people grew up too. And then times changed.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things in often
Times changed. Phones became better. Cell phones became better. Cameras became better. And all the stuff that you could get away with, can't get away with now.
mm-mm. And the other thing is, DC and Lisa.
And it got to the
Yeah.
point where you going to freak it? No, I ain't going this year. I'm too old to go. It should have been, the killing part is that Freaknik, everybody should have aged out of Freaknik and aged into Freaknik. But it got to the point where people who shouldn't have been carrying their ass to Freaknik was going to Freaknik.
That was the situation, no, Lisa. And and I know, like, you would have people. I know I'm from Brooklyn, New York,
Right.
and I know that there's a lot of, like, okay, so there's, in each city, each state, they had their own, major event, right?
Right.
Where black people congregated. So in Philadelphia, it's the summertime, Will Smith, all of that.
Yeah.
We had the Greek picnic, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then we had something else called the Chicken Bone Beach. And then in New York, it was Carnival and all that stuff. So people was like, are you familiar with so and so and so? Are you familiar with the Freaknik and whatnot? And then people's friends started coming, because the friends was, I'm just going to keep it 100. Sometimes we're in college and some of your friends may be not in
Are
college,
not.
and doing a lot of different recreational things
Right.
where it affords them money and time, wherein as a student you don't have those same luxuries. So
Right.
get one of your old boyfriends and he's like, yo, I want to go now, I want to check it out, blah blah blah, and I'll you get all your girls, and then we'll go to the hotel, and they're spending on you
Right.
and things of that nature, because the boys that are in college, they too, we don't have recreational money, we don't have that
Right.
kind of money to spend on hotels and things of that nature. So when some of the females found military men to get with, and
Yes.
found a whole bunch of, as creative as a woman can be,
Hey, hey.
can find ways and people who have money, and that happened a lot. So now you have different people who, like you said, Lisa, never ever went to college, not thinking about it, but they just seeing who they can smash, and then it became the drugs, and then the
Yeah.
liability that comes with all of that, and then of course it changes the whole face of the event. So now,
Right.
in order for you to come, you have to, instead of you getting there and then, or calling and putting, saying, putting a hold on your room, they're asking you all kinds of questions, and now you have to put a down payment on it. Now you have
Right.
just all this
Right.
the extra stuff that they do to Black people, when they kind of shady boots telling you, we don't really want y'all because
Right.
but we really don't want to say that because we know that the money that y'all bring in is like, awesome. And
Right.
yeah, so yeah, it's really very interesting. And we had the Greek picnic here, and the problems that we had were not people that were in the fraternities, sororities, other organizations. They were people who were not a part
Who
of
were not in there? Yeah.
at all. And the other one's Chicken Bone Beach, where it's
But that's my problem, was that it didn't age out properly.
right.
I'm feeding back, baby. It didn't age out properly because nobody. I was, when I went. I want to say I was 25. Nobody older than me should have been there. Cause see, I went to school late. I was 22 when I went to college, and I didn't go to Freaknik right then and there because that was like 89. So I went like the next. Yeah, I was already like 24, 25. Nobody older than me should have been a Freaknik because after a certain age, it's just too much.
Right, you wear out your
Too
welcome.
many, too much.
Right.
Just, oh yeah. I had turned it down because I was loud. But it was just, ugh. But that was the only thing that when I saw all the people that shouldn't have been there, and in my head, you keep to yourself, I ain't coming back next year. I'm
Right.
not making it back in next year. And then eventually just fizzled out because it got too much. And people weren't taking, but see, you know what I think a lot of it has to do with, people weren't taking care of people like they used to. Girls weren't hanging out together like they used to.
Back.
They weren't having each other back. Dudes wasn't having the girls back, even if they didn't want to have sex with them. It just, people changed a lot.
Very much.
And that says nothing about them because times changed, and what you do and what you did and where you were and all that stuff changed.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, as times changed, it didn't get any better.
Nope.
And everybody was laughing. Now everybody's laughing and joking about your mama at Freaknik. And well, guess what? Your mama had a past. Your mama did freaky stuff before she had you. Hell, some of y'all mamas was doing freaky stuff after they had you.
And some of them, the reason
Some
why
of
we
y'all
here,
got here
the
because
reason
of
why
Freaknik.
the
Thank you.
reason why we here is because they was doing freaky stuff. Stop playing.
Come on. I mean, everybody want to sit up there and talk about how oh, you gonna see your grandma. Even I said all these deacons and deaconesses now on the usher board. The usher board meeting gonna be real friendly right after that drop. Cause then I see you on that Esther. You act like you old and too old to have. Come on, now.
That's what I'm saying, yo. It's like, we have really we dig at each other in such a way where it just takes away from the aging gracefully, if you will. And
Right. The process of getting older because you do stuff in your 20s. I
Mhm.
did in my 20s what I was supposed to do in my 20s.
And
I
I was
did in
done.
my 30s what I was supposed to do
There
in
you
my
go.
30s. I didn't
Right.
have any kids. I had Nick when I was 37, almost 38. So all of my 20s and the majority of my 30s, I could do whatever I wanted to do.
Okay. There
You
you
can
go.
call me whatever. You can call me a hoe. You can call me whatever. But I was grown and single, and I could do whatever I wanted to do. And that past made me my present.
There you go.
So I know you won't see me on the documentary, but if you did, you probably would have seen me face down, ass up. That's cause soon as,
Oh my. Oh, okay.
cause soon as, cause soon as Luke came on, baby,
And
Two
Luke
Live
was
Crew. I
Luke.
was in the South, the dirty South. I
And
was
when
in the,
when Luke came
not the,
on the scene,
but shit.
when Luke came on the scene, it changed the whole face of rap music. I mean, seriously, it
It
did.
did. And people don't understand. Now
Mm-mm.
I understand hip hop in the beginnings, New York, all of that. I get
Right,
that. I'm
right.
down with that. That is my base. That is my core. But make no mistake, I was grown and sexy when the South came up. When the South rose and raps. And trust me when I tell you, when them
Hmm.
boys with them goals in their mouth and started talking slow, baby,
You know
it
what?
was it was just a little different. It just was. Because I mean, we were used to a little bit harder. In New York, we used to harder. We used to stronger. We used to heavier beats,
Mhm.
stronger raps. They were rapping about the what had happened in the day and da 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 da. And then here come LL Cool J. And he got a little smooth with it.
That's
And he
it.
started doing a little lover boy rap. You was like, okay, LL,
Loose
made
lips,
you do
baby.
that. But then the
Lip,
South came up.
thick lips. Okay.
And then all of a sudden, them boys didn't talk quite as fast.
Mm-mm.
Them boys weren't telling the same story. Now you're
Mm-mm.
talking about ass and titties. Oh, okay. And you shaking it. And you had a woman going to a 9 to 5 at a corporate job Monday through Friday, but let Friday at 5 o'clock at 5:01:30, she was shaking that ass to Two Live Crew and Too Short. Ask you won't. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Trina,
Mm.
baby. Y'all know.
Right.
Y'all know we know all the words. Come on now. Come on now. But that's another thing that I mean, Freaknik was just I don't know. It was black togetherness. For me,
Absolutely.
Freaknik and things like that are black togetherness. The
Mm-hmm.
the the the, the cookouts,
Mm-hmm.
kickbacks, the spades parties,
Right.
the birthday parties that turned into the grown folk events. Somebody having boxing on the TV and all of a sudden you got a party going. We party for no reason. Why? Because it's Friday.
That's right. And if
13 people turning into 732 people in your backyard and you don't know but 12 of them.
and
It
if
just,
somebody if
I don't
somebody
know.
was
Like
wearing the same outfit somebody else was wearing, we started having a fashion show.
oh,
Trust me.
yes.
Oh yeah, it was like, oh okay, oh everybody
Oh,
had we had a fashion show. We had our own things. We were doing it was very creative, very
it
very.
was. I
Mhm.
mean, from our time, it was the graphic tees and the jerseys that they had the graffiti on, and you had the your favorite sports team, but then the back of it, we somebody had drawn on it, and then you had the jeans, and the jeans were drawn on and the graffitied up, and then you started having holes in them, and then Black Girl Magic, the hair, baby. The hair was geometric. It was like somebody took a ruler and a protractor to make that hair. I mean, because mine had an edge to it. Play with it if you want to. Because I cut mine off my senior year of high school. And any time I thought about it, I had one swooped up and went down to the side. I had asymmetric. I had one side longer than the other side. Come on now. We do, baby. And it is beautiful. I love when I tell you I love black people, baby.
I love old us, love young us. Some of these middles, they getting on my nerve a little bit, but I still love us. And I wish they could do stuff like that. I wish Nick could go to something like Freak Nick. I wish he could experience that and me not be sitting up there worried about him not coming home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you
Baby,
know
you
what?
still here?
And Lisa, you know what was really interesting? Also, that like all the rappers and everything, all the rappers and all of those people were at these events
For free.
for free. And it wasn't. Listen, let me tell you something. This is the reason why I cannot stand Michael Jordan to this day. Jordans, I will not buy ever a pair of Michael Jordans because when we were trying to pledge and all this other stuff, he's a Q, so
Right.
they were having a party with their sister organization,
Right.
and he's at UNCG, so he's at the other school and we at the black school, and
Right.
all of that kind of good stuff. So right before spring break and all that good stuff, we were getting ready to have a party, just to wrap it up and say, everybody going their way.
Right.
He was having a good time with the others, you see what I'm saying, and trying to, like,
Right.
and I was like, no, 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 no. And it was like, yo, but go talk to him because he's the one, he's the man, he's gonna be the one in basketball. And I said, I don't. Me and the sisters from A&T,
Uh-huh.
we didn't give a doggone because we have black men that we see all the time.
Right. And he's not that cute.
No, and he's not the only one that made it. Or that there's I mean, listen. Let me just say this. Let me put it out there. Michael Jordan, you made your you an excellent athlete, the whole 9 yards. Business person, he has a lot of investments. God bless him. Howsoever, that he's not the only black man. Okay, because when you go to a black college, there's gonna be some geeks that they're gonna be making 7 figures to this day.
Baby.
Okay, don't get it twisted. Serious.
Baby.
They got snatched up real quick and real, early on. By
Baby. Let me just say,
uh,
baby.
mm,
And I mean, it's just the excellence makes you just look and go,
mhm,
it makes you sigh sometimes. And
mhm.
like I said, I wish Nick could do that. I wish there was a thing where I wouldn't be worried about him doing that. You know what I'm saying? But right now, nowadays, somebody get upset. You walk past somebody's house too fast, they call the police. Like,
Right.
I don't know if you could do it like that anymore. Not us.
No.
Not with that amount of us's.
And the other thing
Cause
is,
it was 3, 4, 30, 20, 50,000 deep.
oh yes.
I don't know if that amount of us's could be down there like that. Cause the
Mm-mm.
next thing you know, the news will be talking about we was riding. What?
Oh
Wait,
yes.
what?
And one last
I
thing.
don't know. Times have changed. So I hope the kids coming up can
Mhm.
find different ways to express themselves like that, different ways to build camaraderie and to be together and to come together. College students, doctors, law. I mean, anybody.
Right.
I mean, something that gives you a commonality. I mean, it's one thing to be black, but let's have some other commonalities in there. I wish there are other things that kids can come together and okay with them being together in that way. Future doctors and lawyers, future
Right. Right.
future carpenters, and don't sleep on the trades. You know what I'm saying? Black college students.
Electricians.
Shit,
Right.
not even just black college students.
Right.
Because it's a lot of black kids that don't go to an HBCU. They go to other schools that are predominantly white institutions, but they still want to hang out with the brothers and sisters. I,
Hmm.
I, I wish there were things for them to do where they felt like they could do it and do it openly.
Right.
Because we had a lot more back then. When there was less technology, we had a lot more camaraderie. You
Camaraderie.
would think with the amount of technology and the ability to be friends with somebody in the Netherlands that you'd have more camaraderie in that way. But as much as it brings us together, it divides us. And I wish the kids had more. I wish the kids had more freak Nick in their life.
Hmm.
The real freak Nick, not the freak Nick after the drug dealers and
and the old men started taking over.
That part. Thank
But
you. All right.
like I
Yeah.
said, if you see your grandmama or your auntie or
Mhm.
your best friend mama, and you see her at the Freaknik on the what's that thing called, a documentary?
Oh yeah.
Shit, give her that dap. Say, I see you, Granny.
Hey. Hey.
Shake what your mama gave you. Hey Nick, come here. No, I want him to get these plates.
Yeah.
Shoot, you see somebody on there, tell them I see you. I see you, Deacon Earl.
Oh, no doubt. They're regular people. They're regular persons. And they don't have a problem with doing regular things. And just because the deacon later on and whatever, what they did when they were in their 20s, that's what they did when they were in their
That
20s.
don't mean you ain't no closer to God.
Mm-mm.
All right, guys, you gonna get up off of here? Thank you, Kiki, for coming through.
All right, now talk to y'all later.
Thank you. Love you, baby.
Love y'all. Thank you, DC.
Yes.
Tita.
No.
Tita talks.
Okay.
Thank you, baby.
Inviting you to something.
Yeah, she told me she might not have it on the end of this month.
No, it is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah.
All right, I'll have to check it out. I'll hit her up. She in the mornings. I see it every morning, so I hit her up in the morning. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
All right, guys, we're gonna get off here. Make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to come back and watch our other videos and more
Thank
videos.
you.
We got to get up off here. We've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. If you're watching a replay, make sure you say that in the comment. Have you ever experienced FREAKNIK? Ever? I have never experienced it, but I would like to, see. Hey, what's up, thinking meetings? What's up, Von D? Everybody that came through, Leilani, Rico, Mark. I saw you guys, but when we doing podcasts, we try not to watch the chat that much until the end. But Shadrika, Karen Wood, she went night night earlier. We saw her go night night. Scooby, see you, Scooby, up in here. But like I said, make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe. We be back with more videos. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.